Here is my digital story by me, Marie Knittel. Books I have read for this project is this one. It's called Smile. It is about a girl named Raina who goes through dental reconstruction, bullying, crushes in high school, and her trying to find her normal. And then this book is called What Would Joey Do? It follows a boy named Joey who comes from a broken home, who was raised by his grandmother, and he calls himself Mr. Helpful to try to undo all the wrongs in his life. Then this book is Help Someone Get Me Out of 4th Grade. It's about a boy who has dyslexia and ADHD who tries to prevent his parents to go to the parent-teacher conference because he thinks he will repeat the 4th grade. Then this book, Minnie McClary Speaks Her Mind, is about a girl named Minnie who tries to speak her mind, who goes through school, which has stereotypes put onto her, and in her journey of accepting others and getting others to accept. And then last is this book is called Absolutely Normal Chaos. Follows a girl named Mary, whose summer is filled with family and friend drama, crushes, and then dealing with first death. My findings after reading these books is that these main characters go through some hard and tough topics at a young age and how it can affect them physically and mentally and socially. And then they bring these things into the classroom and how it affects me as an incoming teacher, how it affects my other students, and how the classroom is run, and how I could handle these topics and if I had these characters into my classroom. And so some of the examples I have here of physical development is one of them is death, and other things such as a broken home, or some more positive topics such as crushes and big families. And these things can consume these students' minds, and it shapes them how they're going to be when they get older, more positive or negative. Such as death can kind of show students how they can appreciate things more and appreciate their family and friends and themselves. And then a broken home is a bit tougher because that's all they know and they don't know any better. The responsibilities of either having a really big family or a really small family, and then as they get older, sort of crushes and how it consumes their whole lives. And as myself as a teacher, I would love to have a welcoming, opening environment for my students, for them to have come to me to help them with their problems and just think of me as like another resource to come to, and that when they come into the classroom and come to school, that they will have a more happier environment than leave all the stuff that is at home. More cognitive topics is things we can't see. Kids who I will be teaching have impressionable minds, and they take everything in and they take it to heart. And some things we can't see is learning disabilities. In myself, I have dyslexia. And one of the characters in the book has dyslexia and ADHD. And he didn't feel like he was good enough to move up grades because his classmates and sometimes adults would make fun of him for being hyperactive and not being able to spell. It consumed his life, and by the end, his special ed teacher showed him that he is a smart kid and that he can go up to the next grade. And I want to be that type of teacher that inspires their students to do their best. Other topics that affects a child's mind is stereotypes. We put these pressures on the kids and expect them to follow it. With the character Minnie, she had to deal with stereotypes with her teacher. Her teacher is one of the best, but since she didn't look like a typical teacher by having words on her shirt and having one tattoo, the parents wanted her gone. And just because a child doesn't look like everyone else, they shouldn't be made fun of, especially for wearing just a scarf on their head. And then one of the characters had PTSD, and they got made fun of for being scared of a thunderstorm. And we just have to show kids that just because that we don't live the same life as them doesn't mean that they go through the things that they go through. And we need to learn to have them speak up for what is right and to accept others as they are. A social life is a key component to your kid's life. You have to have friends no matter how well they treat you. And Raina went through a period where she would put up with her friends to say she had friends, but she was not happy. She thought she was less than because she didn't have the right clothes, her hair wasn't right, she had braces, she wasn't getting the right guy,
she was being teased way too many times by her friends, and that we should teach them that could affect them and make them very unhappy and even depressed. If I see this in a student who is struggling, I will go to them and I will help them as much as I can. Here are my references.